I've got a pretty good sized piece of walnut, and I know for a fact this came from an English walnut tree because I was there when it was cut down. It was our friends. The tree was dying, they had to get it cut down, and the fellow that cut it down is kind of a family friend that has a business doing that, and he made sure I was there, and he asked me every time he made a cut, how about this, how about that? Well, this came from the trunk section. It was huge, too big for me to handle, so he chopped it up a little bit for me. I don't know what happened here, but there's a good sized chainsaw cut in there. Well, it's 13 by 13 and about 3 inches thick. So I'm in a dilemma. I don't want to leave it like that. I'm going to lose a lot of height on the turning. So I want to cut it, maybe glue it back together, or cut it and maybe put a piece of maple in between. I'm not sure. So think about this for a while. I'm going to go ahead and cut this, and I'll decide what I'm going to do later on this afternoon. Alright, I've let the glue sit all night, and let's see who guessed what I did. I just glued it back together with no accent piece in there. I just didn't want to interrupt all this beautiful walnut. I'm going to pull the tailstock up and get some support here. We're going to start turning it with 5/8 bowl gouge and doing about 650 RPM to start. Alright, let's see what kind of shape we may get. I'm thinking of maybe a fruit bowl. I'm looking for my glue joint. I can't see it, so that's a good thing. I guess it's right there. It just about totally disappeared right here. I think, well, I think it was a good choice. I'm going to finish cleaning this up, and I can see how much I can get away with taking off the top. Now that top, the way it was laying, it had kind of a warp into it, so it still has it, and definitely going to lose quite a bit, but it'll still be just about right. Well, it sure cuts nice. So this is what's going on with this side here, and this is kind of how it was. It's been sitting under my pole shed for at least 2 years, and it's just kind of was cut this way, and it warped a little bit, so it looks like I got a lot of material here, but this is what I'm working with. I want to try to flatten this out just to see where I'm at so I can get the shape I want, and I don't want a surprise if I don't flatten this out. I'm going to use this flat carbide cutter to do it, just to get a line on here. I'm not going to go but maybe an inch down at the most. That's still too high. And we've got a little bit more. I actually got a split piece right here, so I probably got to go at least that far. There we go. Alright, now I can create my shape, and we'll deal with that once we get it turned around. Alright, now it's just a matter of cleaning this up. Get rid of that and probably keep this pretty wide down here. Well, I sure like that grain, and I kind of liking the shape. Pretty happy with this shape here. I just need to clean this up. I don't know if that's going to disappear or not, but I've got to get it flat and decide how wide I want that to be. Using a 1/2-inch bowl gouge. I'm going to finalize that shape right there, and then we'll probably get a tenon on here. Go ahead and mark for this tenon here. I already put a mark right there. I want to start and recess that down to my tenon. Put a little detail down here on that foot. Alright, I think it is time to sand. Well, this cut pretty nice, pretty smooth. I'll start with 100 grit lathe running reverse at about 400 RPM. We'll sand it up to 400, come back and put some sealer on it. Okay, here it goes. I'm going to use some shellac based sanding sealer. This should be really pretty. I'm going to start out here. This is the, it's really nice. It's the planer section. And this is what I think is really nice. I just had to save this piece. Well, I'm not done. Hopefully we save it. Poor thing just sat there waiting for me to turn it. Every time I went out there, I would look at it and try to pick it up, saying, oh, I don't know what to do with this. It's just got this big saw cut in it. Okay, well, I cut the saw cut out. Alright, I'm going to sand this up probably and give it another coat. I might wait on the finish, not sure, but one way or another I'll see you when we have it flipped around. I've got the piece flipped around in the chuck, and if you see right here, we're maybe a 1/4 inch away from what I've turned, but then when I come up here it's about 3/4. Combination of, I think, when this blank was cut out and joining the pieces to make the glue joint, we're not very close to flat at all. I don't know if you can see that very well, but I've got some material to get off of here and then we can start hollowing it. So I'm going to go ahead and do that, and then we'll get set up and we'll cut the inside. What kind of RPM we can do. Running pretty nice. I think we'll do about 750 with a 5/8 bowl gouge. I might start out with a 1/2 inch bowl gouge till I see how this feels. I'm happy with the wall thickness here, so I think I'll go ahead and scrape this and then we'll keep going down. Really like the way I feel it vibrating there, so I'm going to go ahead and put the live center against it again. It looks pretty bright on the camera, but it's really dark for me. There. I'll have to finish it like that. Let's see where we're at. It's good there, and it's pretty thick there. That should do it. I just have just a small little nub right there. And I'd rather have a little nub than a little divot in there, because that's harder to sand out than it is the nub. So, speaking of sanding out, it's time to sand. Well, I was all set to do some sanding. I'd already put some CA in a couple cracks. I found another one. I think that's why it was kind of making noise to me. So I patched that. I want to go ahead and sand all those patches, sand the rest of it, and I might have to patch things again if I find them. So I'm not going to make you watch that, and I'll get that all sanded up and we'll come back for the next step. See you in the morning. I've got the piece reversed. It's up against a block of wood with some non-slip material. I have this spinning because I'm going to wait till the end. I think you might want to see this all at one time. I'm pretty happy with it. We're going to do about 500 RPM with a 1/2 inch bowl gouge. Okay, I'm going to move the tool rest. I'll get in here and do some sanding. I'll take it off, chisel that nub off, and I'll be back and show you what we ended up with. Well, another look at what I started with, and all I could say every time I looked at it was, ouch, that chainsaw cut. But now, look what we have. Some beautiful grain in here. It's just amazing. You know, it looks like the clouds coming down at the beach and the sun going through them. They just glow. I just love this piece. It's just amazing. Lots of hidden beauty in here. But I did fight with the idea of making a couple smaller bowls out of it. I just did not want to do that. So I took a chance and I cut the kerf out of there and I glued it back together. I was pretty sure it would work based on the grain, and it seemed to work good, and I'm sure happy I did it. So it finished 11 3/4 inches in diameter. It's 2.5 inches tall. Here's the base, and the walls are 5/16 of an inch thick. I finished it with 2 coats of Zinsser Seal Coat, and then I decided I wanted to spray Def Lacquer on it. So I did that with 2 coats of Def Lacquer on it, and then I went over it with the Axe sanding paste and the Axe polish, and I think it's just perfect finish for this piece of wood. So with this grain here, you can hardly see that glue joint, and if I didn't tell you it was glued, you wouldn't even know it was there. So I'm pretty happy with how that turned out. Let me know what you think in the comments. Would you rather seen a piece of maple in that glue joint, or not even glue it together, make smaller turnings? Let me know. I know I sure had a lot of fun making this, and I hope you enjoyed the video. If you liked the video, you can let me know by hitting that like button. Also, leave a comment and tell me what you think. I love reading them all, and I do my best to answer them all. If you're currently not subscribed, please consider doing so. If you are subscribed, thank you very much. I truly appreciate each and every one of you. I do all types of turnings, and I love doing them all. Let me know your favorites. Thanks again, and until the next time, see you later.